Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, teacher. Good afternoon, classmates. Today I'm going to explain a little bit about the survey that we passed with with our group. So I'm going to explain a little bit why we decided to do that questions and why we decided to pick that topic. And I'm going to explain a little bit about the title. Here we have the title of our survey that is stress measures in pre and post pandemic education. So why we decided to do that topic? Because all we know that the situation that we are fronting right now, it's a little bit difficult, but of course a lot of things has changed, and we wanted to know how it affect the people, how they felt with the different kind of platforms and the digital platforms that we have been using, and how it affects during the process of the learning process and the teaching process too. Also, in order to compare the situations when we were in a presential way and right now we are in a digital and virtual way of learning. So that's why we decided to do that topic. And here we go with the first question that it was, how old are you? And we decided to do that question because we wanted to know like the average of the age we that we were interviewing with this survey. And we decided to do that because we wanted to know how it will affect a person in order to his or her age. For example, we can assume that a person, sorry, that is more old, for example, like 50 or 60 years old, it's going to be more difficult for them to adapt to this new kind of learning process. And that's why we decided to do that question in order to have a better aware, to be more aware of how it will affect to the people. Now we have what's your gender, and we decided to do that because we wanted to know how it will affect in order if you are a man or if you are a woman. So, for example, because sometimes the women are who has to take care of the children. It's not always like that, but today the situation has changed a lot, and we decided to do that. And for example, it can be that the men stay in the house and the women are the ones who go to work, and a lot of different situations. But we wanted to know how it will affect in order of your gender. And then we have the next question. In a scale from 1 to 10, how will you qualify the level of stress during the presential classes? So here the people have to choose um, a number, any number that they will feel comfortable with. This number that will represent the level of stress that they have or they had, sorry, during the presential classes. So here we decided to do that because we wanted to compare the both situations between the presential classes and the virtual classes that we have right now, and how it affects the perform of a student. So here in the answers we can see that a lot of people, specifically the 17.5% of all the people, we can see that there were 103 people in total. So here the answer was a 5. So from 1 to 10, during the presential classes, it was a 5. Of the A lot of people answered that it was a 5. Of course, we have different answers, but the majority of them answered that it was a 5 in the scale of stress. And then we have the next question, that it was in a scale from 1 to 10. How will you qualify the level of stress during the online classes? And of course, a lot of people replied to, and here they had to do the same thing. They have to reply from 1 to 10, how will they qualify the stress? And now we are going to see the answers. And here we have the majority of them reply that it was a 9. As we can see, the 19.4% of all the people replied that it was a 9. So we can see that the level of stress has been increasing, or has increased during the online classes. So here we can see the difference between the both situations during a presential way of learning and a virtual way of learning. So that it's good for us because that's what we wanted to know with this survey, if the level of stress during the online classes were raising up or maybe they were decreasing. But as we can see, the statistics show us that the levels of stress has been increasing during the online classes, according to all the people and their answers. So this is a fact that we have to take in consideration because it's important to know how it will affect in the performance of a student, or maybe some people work and then go to study, and there are different scenarios that we can affront, but we have to know how to affront it, and we have to be aware of how the things are going and how it will affect us in order to make change that will make this level of stress decrease, right? And so that's important to know these facts and these numbers that represent, I think, a lot of people. And then the last question was, do you consider that your level of stress has been increasing during the online classes? And the answers were just yes or no. And as we can see here in the graphics, we have that a 64.1% replied that it was yes. So we can see the difference here. The 35.9% replied that it was a no. So this confirms our assumptions that the online classes has caused that a lot of people feel more stress, and maybe we have been decreasing or perform or something like that. But as I said, it's important to know that because we have to take a responsibility and also take action in order to change the situation. So that's why we decided to do that topic, and those were our questions. So thank you very much for your attention and have a good afternoon.